A dinosaur is still swimming through Earth's oceans at this very moment. It isn't in a museum, and it isn't trapped in the past as a fossil. It's alive, moving through the deep waters of the Pacific while the planet quietly goes about its routine. The leatherback sea turtle, the largest of all sea turtles, carries on its body the marks of a prehistoric world. Unlike other turtles, its shell isn't rigid and hard like armor. Instead, it's flexible and covered with thick skin that resembles leather, which is exactly where its name comes from. With a body that can exceed 700 kilograms and powerful flippers that slice through the ocean with surprising elegance, it moves across the open sea like an ancient evolutionary ghost. But the real mystery isn't just in its ancestral appearance, it's in its journey. For reasons that have intrigued scientists for decades, this marine giant leaves food-rich coastal regions and sets off on voyages that can exceed 11,000 kilometers across the open ocean. It's an odyssey that seems to defy the logic of survival, as if an invisible force constantly guides it in the same direction. To understand this enigma, we need to dive into the planet's ocean currents and follow one of the most extraordinary journeys in the animal kingdom. At first glance, the leatherback sea turtle looks built to dominate large and fast prey. Its massive body, long muscular flippers and impressive strength suggest a predator capable of chasing swift fish or even giant squid in the depths of the ocean. It would seem logical to assume that an animal of this size would rely on highly energetic prey to sustain its metabolism. Yet reality is one of the greatest surprises in marine biology. The leatherback's favorite food is jellyfish. Delicate, translucent creatures made almost entirely of water. In terms of energy, they offer very little. Even so, these turtles cross entire oceans in search of this seemingly insignificant prey. Even when they are surrounded by nutritious schools of fish near the coast, they often ignore those opportunities and continue toward the open sea. There, in specific regions of the planet, enormous concentrations of jellyfish form gelatinous clouds, drifting through the currents. It's almost as if the entire biology of the leatherback turtle is programmed to chase these fleeting phenomena of the ocean. One of the reasons this incredible journey is possible lies within one of the most extraordinary biological systems found among reptiles. Unlike most of its relatives, the leatherback sea turtle can keep its body significantly warmer than the surrounding water. This means it can explore cold regions of the ocean, where other reptiles simply wouldn't survive. This ability comes from a mechanism known as counter-current heat exchange. In this system, the warm blood leaving the body transfers part of its heat to the colder blood returning from the flippers. This process dramatically reduces heat loss to the environment and keeps the muscles active, even in near-freezing waters. Thanks to this adaptation, the leatherback turtle can dive to depths of more than 1,000 meters and explore cold ocean zones that few predators can reach. However, maintaining this type of metabolism requires a constant supply of energy. To sustain its warm body and its long migrations, the turtle must consume enormous amounts of food. That is exactly why regions with massive jellyfish concentrations become so essential for their survival. In certain parts of the ocean, natural phenomena create true explosions of gelatinous life. Ocean currents and seasonal changes cause millions of jellyfish to gather in specific areas, forming vast floating masses that can stretch for kilometers. Among them are species like the lion's mane jellyfish and the moon jellyfish, both extremely abundant at certain times of the year. When a leatherback turtle finds one of these regions, the ocean suddenly turns into a massive buffet. It can consume hundreds of kilograms of jellyfish in a single day, compensating for the low energy value of each prey item with sheer volume. To handle this unusual diet, its body has an extraordinary adaptation. The inside of its esophagus is lined with backward-pointing spines. These structures act like natural hooks that prevent slippery prey from escaping the throat, guiding them directly into the stomach. But finding these regions is not easy. To reach them, leatherback turtles rely on something even more immense: the gigantic ocean currents that circulate across the planet. A leatherback turtle can cross thousands of kilometers of open ocean and still arrive precisely at the places where food is most abundant. For a long time, this ability seemed almost impossible to explain. How could an animal navigate with such accuracy in an environment that appears uniform and lacks visible landmarks? The answer lies within the Earth itself. Research suggests that these turtles can detect subtle variations in the planet's magnetic field and use them as a natural orientation system. In other words, they carry within their brains a kind of biological compass that allows them to identify specific regions of the ocean. Recent satellite tracking data has revealed something even more fascinating. Many turtles follow remarkably similar routes year after year, as if they were using invisible highways formed by thermal ocean currents. These currents help reduce the effort required for swimming and guide them toward the areas where jellyfish tend to concentrate. Even so, this strategy involves a significant evolutionary risk, because the food they are searching for can be highly seasonal and unpredictable. For millions of years, the leatherback turtle survived climate changes, geological transformations, and even mass extinction events. Yet the challenges it faces today are unlike anything in its long history. One of the greatest modern dangers comes from plastic pollution in the oceans. Plastic bags and transparent fragments can look disturbingly similar to jellyfish, leading turtles to ingest materials that block their digestive system. Another growing threat is global warming. As the oceans warm, major currents begin to shift, altering the areas where jellyfish gather. This means migration routes used for generations may no longer lead to reliable sources of food. Fortunately, science is evolving to confront these challenges. Today, conservation projects are using artificial intelligence and satellite tracking to map critical migratory corridors. By identifying these routes, researchers can propose protected areas designed to preserve the ancestral pathways traveled by these giant turtles. The leatherback sea turtle is far more than an impressive marine species. It is a survivor from geological eras, a living witness to a planet that once looked completely different. While continents drifted, mountains rose and eroded, and countless species vanished from the earth, this ancient traveler continued crossing the oceans in silent and extraordinary journeys. Each of these voyages is a story written in the planet's currents, a story of resilience, instinct, and adaptation that spans millions of years. Yet for the first time in its long existence, the greatest threat to this species does not come from nature, but from human activity. Keeping our oceans clean means preserving these ancestral roots and ensuring that future generations can still witness the presence of these giants of the sea. The survival of the leatherback turtle is directly tied to the health of the oceans we all share. If you're fascinated by incredible stories like this and believe that science and knowledge can help protect wildlife, explore more content here on the channel about pets and nature. Subscribe to the channel and continue this journey with us, because the more we understand the natural world, the greater our chances of preserving it for the future.